Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening for our first virtual New York City TAP session. And thank you for choosing New York City as your home. Whether you're returning or new to the Big Apple, the New York City Department of Veteran Services is here to ease your transition and can serve as your one stop for linking you to services and programs for veterans and their families provided by government agencies and not-for-profit organizations. Our mission is to connect, mobilize, and empower New York City's veteran community in order to foster purpose-driven lives for those who have sacrificed in service to our country. In partnership with hundreds of community-based organizations in numerous cities, state, and federal entities, DVS enables those whom we assist to receive VA claims, related benefits, housing support, access to VA health care, employment resources, educational offerings, mental health programming, and several other amenities. I'm Ellen Greeley, Assistant Commissioner for Policy and Strategic Partnerships at the New York City Department of Veteran Services, and will be your host for the evening. We have a great lineup of speakers who will touch on core areas that help you and your families hack transition. But before we start, I'd like to review some housekeeping rules. First, you should have received a copy of our DVS resource guide and agenda when you registered. If you haven't downloaded these documents, please do after our session. It's chock full of information, including how you can sign up on our Vet Connect NYC platform for connections to all sorts of services, as well as contact information for all the speakers and organizations participating in tonight's session. Second, we've created a TAPS group on our Facebook page. Please join and feel free to post your questions. If we're unable to get through all the questions tonight through the chat, we have a team ready to respond to you. Third, following the session, we'll be hosting a women-only session using a separate WebEx line. Our own Housing and Support Services Coordinator, Army veteran Donise Smalls, will be hosting this open discussion. First up is New York City's Department of Veteran Services Commissioner James W. Hendon. Prior to joining DVS, Commissioner Hendon served as director of NYU's Veterans Futures Lab, a small business incubator for practicing and aspiring entrepreneurs who hail from the veteran community. He served in the U.S. Army as an active duty infantry officer, deploying to Iraq in 2005 and Afghanistan from 2007 to 2009. Currently a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve, Commissioner Hendon commands a logistics battalion headquartered in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Thank you, Commissioner. Please speak.
Hey, thanks so much, Ellen. Hey, I just want to start by thanking all who are with us tonight, as far as our presenters and our organizers. Starting from the top, to give roses to Ellen Greeley, our Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Engagement and Partnerships. Also calling out Nicole scenes with what's going on right now. Recognizing our presenters, R.J. Jenkins and Beth Morgan from Columbia's University Center for Veteran Transition and Integration. Tom Murphy from the Human Resiliency Institute at Fordham University. Bala, or Dr. Balavankatesh Khanna, Director of the Bronx VA. General Retired Michael Eastman, National Expiration of Terminal Service Sponsors Program, or ETSSP. Also presenting from our own team at DVS, Philip Dew, our Director of the Claims Program, and our community coordinators, Donnie Smalls and Tanya Thomas. I'll say three things, and we'll keep it moving. We appreciate you once again, too, for being here as far as this time. Thing one, everyone here who's transitioning, I want to make sure we say it. You cannot do this alone. I think that we often, I'll just speak to myself, getting out of the military several years ago when I left active duty service, I thought I was my own admiral, my own general, and I had figured it out. And I made so many mistakes because I didn't really continue to think that I was in a tribe, that I was still with people, as far as brothers and sisters to my left and right, who were there for me, who were helping me. And so I just encourage all who are here, who are just leaving, just getting out, just keep in mind, you cannot do this by yourself. All the things that got you through your time in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force, all those things you did were with people. And you had brothers and sisters that helped you along the way, and you still do. So that's thing one. Thing two, take names. Make sure you get the names, the contact information for different people you see tonight, different people you meet. Oh, people forget everything you may say, but they will always remember how you make them feel, and they remember you. And so, even if years from now you don't remember exactly what was discussed on Thursday, February 16th, 2023 at 6:40 p.m., but you know to reach out to Ellen, or you know to reach out to Danae, or you know to reach out to Dr. Kana, or to General Eastman, or to Tom, or to Beth, etc. Just having that can be an arrow in your quiver. So I encourage you, if all else fails, make sure you know who is here tonight so you can reach out to us with whatever lies ahead. Take names. And then thing three, we encourage you to help somebody else. For everyone here tonight and this session, there are countless other veterans who should be here, who we wish could be here, but who maybe just didn't know. And so it's not just putting the mask on yourself, but once you do put it on yourself, put it on someone else. And so we encourage you to spread the word about this as we try to help many more of our brothers and sisters with their transition and just making sure that they're in a good place. To end with two quotes, this is Thomas Fuller. All things are difficult before they are easy. So all things are difficult before they're easy. And then another quote, this is Raymond Linquist. Courage is the power to let go of the familiar. Courage is the power to let go of the familiar. Once again, you're not in this alone. Take names tonight and be sure to tell someone else about what's going on here. We appreciate you. God bless you. God bless the city of New York. God bless America. Back to you, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Next up is Beth Morgan, Director of Higher Education Transition, and R.J. Jenkins, Curriculum Design Specialist, both at the Columbia University Center for Veteran Transition and Integration. They'll speak on how to swim in the sea of goodwill. The center was founded to have a direct and lasting impact on the issue of veteran transition and upward mobility by creating and providing access to the best-in-class tools and programming veterans needs as they transition from active service to college and the workforce. Beth's extensive career in higher education for both traditional and non-traditional students include assisting transitioning service members and veterans with admission to undergraduate and graduate programs. Beth grew up in the Marine Corps family and was raised around the world, living for periods of time in Hawaii, Germany, and Korea, and has family members currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. RJ is an educator, higher education administrator, and institutional consultant who specializes in organizational and cultural transition. Currently, he serves as the Director of Education for the center where he develops tools, resources, and programs that help thousands of veterans and active duty service members each year achieve success in the college classroom and the civilian workforce. Beth and RJ, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Thank you so much. And we're so happy to be here. We're going to move very quickly because according to the agenda, our session ends at 6:46 p.m. I know we started just a few minutes late, but we're going to try to make up a little bit of time here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you could just let me know if you can see that, Ellen.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Got it.
So our presentation, Beth and I, and you'll hear from my colleague Beth in just a moment, we're very happy to be here, is called How to Swim in the Sea of Goodwill. And that comes from a sort of common cultural notion of people drowning in the sea of goodwill. You just heard from Commissioner Hendon. There are a lot of people that want to help you. And when there's a lot of resources, a lot of goodwill, a lot of folks who want to help, sometimes it can get noisy. And so we just want to talk a little bit before we talk about all of these resources, all of these people who are here to help you, how to approach this session. The purpose tonight is to make this engagement as productive as possible for everybody here, not just for those of you who are here, but as Commissioner Hendon said, for another person or a group of people who you know who couldn't be here but can benefit from this information. We want you to walk away from tonight feeling empowered and informed and not overwhelmed. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to approach the session, do a little bit of a needs assessment, and talk about the Center for Veteran Transition and who we are and how we can help. The good news is that there's so much good help. There are so many resources, many of them free, and there are people everywhere who want you to transition smoothly and succeed in your next step. The bad news is that all of those resources, all of those people can be a lot to process. And we want to make sure that tonight, again, people don't walk away feeling overwhelmed. And the way that we suggest, Commissioner Hendon did a great job. He said, take names. And in many ways, that is, I think, the best way to approach this session. Think a little bit about what it is that you need, and then identify a resource or a person who can help. And the Cliff Notes version of this is that Ellen, in many ways, is that primary person, right? DVS is that place, that one stop that you can go to, but you're going to meet a lot of other people, including Beth and I tonight, who can help you in other ways. So I'd ask that for those of you who are with us, if you just spend a couple of minutes, and maybe you've already done this prior to coming to the session when you downloaded your resources, think about your specific circumstances and think about what would be most helpful to you right now. Maybe it's education, maybe it's employment, maybe it's financial security, housing, emotional and physical wellness, transition support, community, or something else. And you're going to hear from folks who can help you in all of these ways. And rather than trying to take all of that information in, think about what your top one or two needs are and listen for those folks who can help you think about those. What we suggest you don't do is try to write everything down tonight. That is not a recipe for success this evening. We don't want you to get caught up in the weeds or let the information overwhelm you. Again, what we recommend instead here is to identify your one or two most pressing needs. Again, here are some of the most pressing needs that people have, and then identify a person or a resource who can help you. And then I'm going to give it over to my colleague, Beth Morgan, who can talk to you a little bit about CVTI and what we do, which of these needs we meet as a center. Beth?
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Beth Morgan with the Center for Veteran Transition and Integration. We are based at Columbia University, but we're external facing. So we are here to help those that want to look at getting to, through, and beyond college. So a couple of ways that we might be able to assist you, helping you get to a right fit college if that's on your track, helping you succeed while you're in the college classroom, and then moving on to that meaningful civilian career after college. Or if you're transitioning and looking for a career right now, we can help you on that pathway as well. We also provide one-on-one mentorship to help you think about all of the things related to higher education and helping you understand the cost of college. The best way to learn more about us is through our email, cvti@columbia.edu, to just drop us an email and someone will reach out to you and connect with you, or through our website, veterans.columbia.edu.
Great.
Beth, thank you so much. And what you'll all notice in this presentation is we tried not to overwhelm you with too many details. We are folks who can help you with higher education. Here is our email address. We are real people, and we are ready to hear from you if you need help. Ellen, I think we've recovered about 5 minutes for you. Take it away.
Thank you so very much, RJ and
Yes,
Beth. Really
ma'am.
appreciate it. I know you're coming back later to help us with our closing, so thank you.
Yes,
Next
ma'am.
up is Tom Murphy, who's the founder of Edge for Vets and is the author of 4 books, including Reclaiming the Sky, a series of profiles of 9/11 heroes. Tom's been a newspaper editor, university vice president, and consultant to the aviation industry. Edge for Vets is based at the Human Resiliency Institute at Fordham University. The workshop series helps veterans learn how to translate their military strengths, including their values and skills, into tools for civilian success. Then the program connects them to human resource reps at partner organizations to interview with decision makers for a job that can lead to a career. Go ahead, Tom, please take it away.
Great. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to you, Commissioner Hendon, and your whole team for the chance tonight to talk about the employment component of transition. As you see in the upper left, our logo, Edge for Vets, as Ellen mentioned, we offer the program out of Fordham University. Started it 12 years ago in 2011. Because we looked around and we saw that there are a lot of well-intentioned efforts to help vets. As the commissioner said, you're not alone. You're here. We're here to help. And there were a lot of well-intentioned efforts, but the missing piece that we determined was a workshop to help you get that support to do the important part, which is to translate your skills. So I put up right there the goal, as you see, in supporting you in transition. We figure that you can figure it out yourself, but as the commissioner said, you really benefit when you get help to do the transition and do the translation piece for take your skills and put them into currency for the civilian workplace. So we're looking to help you get a job, but really not just any job that'll last you a short time. We want to help you get a job that can be a platform for a career that can give you the life that you want. So the task that we do and in partnership with the city and others is to prepare you for that. And you see below, how does Edge for Vets work? We have a system that we call Prep and Connect. And step number one, prepare you, then connect you. Let me break it out for you. On the prep piece, we do what business leaders say that you need the most, and that is to take your values and skills from the military, which are enormous, and be able to put them into your own language in a way that a civilian interviewer who maybe has no military experience can understand the value that you can bring. And so we do that with a workshop series, an in-person workshop series, but also with an online course as well. And then what we do is we connect you after we put you through the process of translating your strengths. We connect you to the city's Vet Connect Pro for doing online search, but then also to HR reps at our partner companies for personal contact in that. And I thought what I would do is just show you a brief video so you can see what a workshop looks like. This is an Edge for Vets workshop in action, and then I'll give you the detail on the back end.
Vets, you've served our country, now you're home and thinking about a job. But how often have you applied and never heard back? That can be frustrating. That's why we created Edge for Vets, to open the world for you. The Edge for Vets workshop series offers a unique system of prep and connect. We blend workshop training with one-on-one mentoring provided by business executives from our partner companies. Mentors participate with you in the translation process and help you become job ready. Then mentors show you how to build a network of contacts, while HR reps from our partner companies connect you to job opportunities.
All of the people I've met here have had a remarkable experience and great development in their military service. Business is looking for people like this. What I think is what Edge for Vets does such a good job of helping people understand the translation from military experience into civilian experience, a way that they can think about civilian jobs that helps them understand where they would like to go, and then to be able to explain their skills and their experiences in a military setting and how important and valuable that can be to a civilian interviewer who maybe has no military experience, but understands how to value people with strong personal traits and a commitment to cause.
A facilitator leads the discussion and suggests topics. There are 4 key elements that make up the Edge for Vets curriculum. They are vision, values, skills, and action. Vision, step 1. Mentors help you get clear about the kind of work you want to do for the life that you want. Step 2, values. Mentors help you identify the values you developed in the military, values that can make you valuable to companies. Step 3, skills. Mentors help you gain clarity on the skills you developed in the military and help you develop confidence expressing those skills in civilian terms. Step 4, action. Mentors help you match your interests and skills to companies looking to hire vets. Vets say this blend of instruction and mentoring really works, and so do the mentors.
What Edge for Vets teaches you as a veteran is to take those skills that you've already obtained through 4 or 5, 8 years of military service and translate them into terms that a civilian employer can actually understand, because you actually already have obtained the skills. And I think once you realize that, and that's a big part of transition, is realizing that you do bring a lot of work to the corporate sector. How do I tell my story? Not wrapped up in military jargon, in civilian terms that employer can understand.
Vets really have eye-opening experiences while they're at these mentoring sessions. I feel like that they don't just get to meet other vets who are going through the same things that they are, but they also get to meet people in the business who are willing to help them.
Edge for Vets.
So I thought what I would do is just give you a window into how the workshop works. And the reason that we do it, the commissioner said that you you benefit from support, and we agree with that, because in the military you're going from a culture where everything is about team and sublimating self necessarily so to accomplish the mission. But then you come out of the military and I say I, not in an egotistical way, but now you're on your own. You have to be able to take those values and skills that you developed in the military. That's what the workshop does, help you translate those. And you have to express them by yourself to an HR person who maybe has no military experience, but you want them to understand the value you can bring and therefore say yes to you to put you on a pathway to a job and a career. So the way we do that is with an in-person workshop, but also with an online course. So you can take the in-person workshop, or if you can't make the workshop, we've got the online course. But the point is that Edge for Vets has 4 components to it. The 4 means something. It is vision, values, skills, and action. We take you through the process of creating a personal plan for success that articulates, first, vision, getting clarity on the kind of job and career that you want. And then the 2 boxes in the middle are your asset, what you can bring to the companies. And frankly, companies value you for the values and skills that you can bring. But those 2 boxes in the middle, as the commissioner said, you benefit from support. We help you identify the values in the military and the skills, what you got good at, and be able to just talk about them in regular language, as you saw in the video, no jargon. And then finally, to take those values and skills and put them into an action statement to show that interviewer how you can bring value to their company. And there you see an example of a vet who took the course and created his plan for success. And following that process of helping you translate your skills, we then connect you. We partner with the city will source you into us, and then we'll connect you back. And they have the Vet Connect Pro program there where you can do an online search, taking everything that you learned in Edge for Vets and do an online search. Or we have HR reps from our partner companies that we can connect you to, and you can work with them in person. And then finally, I'm getting ready to wrap up, but we put together a partnership with New York City SHRM, which is the Association of HR Professionals. And we're developing a component where after you finish the workshop series, you get a chance to get a practice interview from an HR person before you then go into your real interview. So again, wrapping up, summing up, our system is prep and connect, but prep in advance of seeking to connect you. Like I say, you see number 2, you learn how to translate your military strengths, which we break out into your values and the skills. And step 3, you get support from mentors that we bring into that workshop series, both for the online course and for the in-person. They help you. Again, back to the commissioner's point, you benefit from getting support for this kind of thing. And the whole purpose is to help you create a plan for success that articulates your strengths, and you get mentor support to do that. And then the critical piece is the job connection. We connect you to Vet Connect Pro for the online search and to HR reps at our partner companies. You see that number 1 prep workshop, we're going to be doing an in-person workshop April 27th. John Jay College is going to host that. We work with the CUNY system to source vets into the program. And John Jay on April 27th is going to host the in-person. So if there's anybody who would like to participate in that, you see down below, you can email me, tom@edgeforvets.org, and we will give you the contact information for registering. But I also recommend that you go to our website, edgeforvets.org, and you'll see everything that I talked about tonight. You can register from there as well. So, Ellen, thank you for the chance to talk to everybody. There's my contact information. If anybody would like to has any follow-up questions, we'd be happy to get back to you and get you on a pathway.
Okay. There's no fee for this service. Can you confirm that, Tom?
Yes, it's
Okay.
free.
Mhm.
We put together companies that support us, companies that want to get the meet the vets through EduVets. They subscribe to our program, and you know, we're Fordham based. We're a nonprofit, so we also seek grants, foundation support as well, and combine that support so that it's totally free to the veteran.
Great, great. Thanks so very much. Chuck, do we have any questions at all for our speakers so far? Okay, we're going to move forward. Okay, thank you so very, very much. Our own Director of Claims and veteran Philip Dew and Gold Family member and care unit coordinator Tanya Thomas will address your immediate financial needs. They'll touch on filing for VA disability claims, New York State unemployment insurance, and supplemental nutrition assistance program to help feed your family as you go through this transition. Transition is stressful, so we're going to ask Phil and to Tanya to present to us. Phil?
Yes, give me 1 second. Just trying to bring up my PowerPoint slides. Can everyone see the slides?
Yes, we can. Thanks,
All
Phil.
right. All right. So, again, my name is Philip Dew. I'm the Director of Veteran Benefit Services here at DVS. I know we have a lot of things to cover going on, but I just want to briefly say that, you know, my team here, my goal is to make sure that every single veteran living in New York City receive the benefit that they earned, because this is very, very important. I know I'm supposed to be talking about filing your VA benefits, but everyone can really file a disability applications. Like you can go on the VA website. There's so many community organizations, but here at DVS, we want to make sure that you're getting the benefits that you deserve. So like I said, what we do, we provide free and professional claim assistance to New York City veterans and their families to obtain the benefits that they earn through their military service. And we do represent the veterans and the families before the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. All of our veteran benefit coordinators or counselors, they're accredited representatives. What that means is that they can do everything an attorney can do before the VA. So they can represent you all the way to the Board of Veterans Appeals. The only thing they cannot do is represent you in the federal court. But that's a different issue that you know, we just don't really deal with. But again, you can look for an attorney or anything like that. However, our team can do everything that an attorney can do. So here's our contact information. I encourage everyone to contact my unit through the email. We monitor that email pretty much every day. Half of our claims are done through the email. But if you do want to talk to someone, please make sure you take our telephone number. It's 212-416-5250. Our Manhattan headquarters office is 1 Center Street on 22nd floor. We do have Veteran Resource Center all across the 5 boroughs. And if you need address, please let us know or go to our DVS website to find out if you want to see a veteran benefit coordinator at the VRC sites. Now, just briefly going on, I'm just going to talk about the federal VA benefits and the state veteran benefits as well. So VA healthcare. VA healthcare is pretty much like if you're in the military, it's kind of like TRICARE, but the VA is also a very comprehensive medical care, healthcare system that provide all kinds of medical care. And also they have the community-based outpatient clinics, what we call the CBOX. If you don't live close to a VA medical center, you can also Google your nearest CBOX as well. How do you apply? You can go online, va.gov/healthcare/apply, or can fill out the VA form 10-10EZ, or can just call the local VAMC. Who are eligible for to enroll in VA healthcare, you have to have a service-connected condition, you're discharged due to a medical issue, or you're eligible under some potential presumptive conditions, or you served during the Gulf War. That's after the new PACT Act thing. I know we're going to cover that by other panelists, so I'm just going to skip here. After you apply for the VA healthcare, I would just want to make sure that you do get a copy of your VA healthcare ID card, because that's not only a healthcare ID card, but also it will allows you to visit any military installation. So that you can visit the PX or the commissary or things like that. If the VA did deny you for enroll in the VA healthcare system, contact us and we'll take a look and see how we can, if you're eligible, and we can fight for you. Now, the VA compensation, what is the VA disability compensation? It is a tax-free money that the federal government that will give to the veteran or a claimant if you're a surviving spouse. Right now in 2023, the VA compensation for a single veteran is $165.92 if you get 10% disability rating, or it can go up to $3,621.95 if you're 100% disabled. So that's quite a lot of money, and that's why, you know, it's very, very important. You're not doing the claim just for yourself, but also you're covering for your family. We'll talk about that in the future as well. I just want to briefly say that, you know, again, we're here to make sure that you get that benefit that you earned. So in order to submit a successful disability compensation claim, you must have three things. Okay, number one, you must have a current diagnosed disability, and also you have to going through a current treatment for that disability. The VA will not give you something that's already acute, like you break your arm and you're not feeling anything about it anymore. You just, you know, work through it, but it happened in service. The VA will not grant you. You must have a current diagnosis. Second criteria is you must have an in-service event. What had happened in service? Like, for instance, if you served in 82nd Airborne Unit, you jump off airplane a lot, or something happened to you when you're running, you went to the sick call. These are all qualifying in-service events. And also, there must have a medical nexus. What that is something that bridges your current diagnosis to whatever happened in the military service. So these three elements must be satisfied before the VA can grant you service connection. I previously served as a VA rating officer, what we call the RVSR. So again, if you guys have any questions, please make sure you email or contact us. And from what I heard, most of the folks here are recently discharged from the military. So one thing I want to point out is that if the VA received your initial disability claim within a year after you left your active duty service, your disability compensation will be effective the day after you left the active duty service. Sorry.
Great.
Again, you must have a qualifying disability that was caused by your military service, or if you do have a pre-existing condition, you must show that the condition has worsened due to the military service. Or you have a disability that is secondary to a disability that was caused by the military service. For example, you have a knee injury when you service, and then you're trying to use your left foot because you have a right knee condition, then you overcompensate that right knee condition, and then now your left foot is feeling kind of funny. That can be service connected as well. The last but not the least is a disability that can be presumed to be related to military service. That we were talking about, you know, the very famous Agent Orange, or any other toxic exposure, burn pit, things like that. Now, a lot of people are talking about the medical opinion. I just want to point out that the VA, as a rater, we see so many claims. We can spot easily if you paid for a doctor to do that medical opinion. Okay, you don't really have to pay a doctor for any medical opinion. Only these things needs to be addressed. Number one, the medical opinion must be issued by a licensed doctor. What that means is that doctor licensed to practice medicine in the United States. Doesn't matter from the VA or your private doctor. It also has to be something related to your personal records. Okay, it has to be tailored to you, describe your service. Like if you've never been abroad, the doctor cannot say you have the potential of being exposed to a burn pit while you're in Afghanistan. They can say that. And also the doctor has to say that the condition, it must be at least likely as not due to the military service. And the doctor also has to provide a rationale why it is at least likely as not. For instance, if there are medical literatures to support his or her medical opinion, things like that. So that's a that would make a very strong medical opinion. Do not pay for any doctors to do that because they don't know you. Common compensation that pretty much a lot of people get service connected for pretty easily. Number one is hearing loss or tinnitus. VA pretty much presume that every veterans who went through and graduated from basic training have been exposed to hazard noise because everyone has to qualify for their weapons. So hearing loss, tinnitus, I encourage every veterans, if you're newly discharged, file for that, go ahead. Erectile dysfunction or infertility, that's something a lot of veterans are service connected for as well. Gastro info, especially if you're serving Afghanistan or Iraq, that's something you need to check it out to see if you have a current diagnosis. Irritable bowel syndrome, again, that's something that's pretty common with the Gulf War veterans after post 9/11. Anxiety, depression, like I said, veterans experience a high stress environment. Definitely put that in. Sleep apnea, migraines, that's a big thing as well. Arthritis and fracture. So if you have any fracture while in service, regardless if it's healed or not, that's actually, as long as you have an x-ray to prove it, the VA will automatically grant that. Dermatitis, rhinitis, sinusitis, that's for if you to get deployed, again, in the Gulf War region or Afghanistan. These things are pretty easy to be service connected for. Like I said, presumptive, what that means is that you don't really have to show evidence that is related to military service. If you have something that you think is under the presumptive list, contact me or my team. We'll help you with the presumptives. Some common claims of paragraph 2930. So if you have a service-connected condition, like, if you had surgery when you're in the military and now you have to do another surgery, the VA will grant something called a 29/30 claim that you'll get 100% for being hospitalized for 21 days or more. Or if you get cast without surgery and you have to take day off from work for more than 30 days, again, VA will give you a temporary 100% disability. For those who have registered their family in the DEER system, you have a dependent. If you have a VA disability of 30% or more, the VA will pay for a dependency allowance as well. That includes your spouse, your children, and your parents. Dental, if you're recently discharged within 180 days, you are entitled to receive one-time dental care, okay? But you have to apply for it within 180 days. If you want a general dental care, like any dental care that you want, you must have 100% or total unemployability. I'm not going to talk about TDIU today. So how can DVS assist you? Again, we're here to make sure that you get the benefits that you deserve. We can review all your medical records to make sure and identify any conditions that may warrant you a service connection. We can explain the claim process we can check your status as long as DVS is representing you. Now, a couple of other VA benefits is number one is post 9/11 GI Bill. You must serve at least 90 days after 9/11. Or if you are discharged due to medical reason, you must have served at least 30 days active duty as well, and you must have a honorable discharge. Post 9/11 GI Bill will pay for your tuition and fees to the school. You will receive a monthly housing allowance that is equivalent to the rate that the E5 with the dependent rate based on the zip code of the location of the school. And in the post 9/11 GI Bill will also pay for the books and supplies up to $1,000. You can also transfer the 9/11 GI Bill if you serve at least 6 years, and at the time you must apply and to commit another 4 years of service, and also you have to enroll your family member into the DEER system. I'm not gonna talk about it. Okay, voc rehab. So the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program that is called Chapter 35, I believe. It is an employment program to help veterans to recently discharged from the military to find jobs. I personally went through the voc rehab program and I really love it. It get me where I am right now. It has 4 tracks: reemployment, rapid access, self-employment, long-term service, or independent living. A lot of people use the voc rehab instead of post 9/11 GI Bill. to receive school training. That's the employment through long-term service track. Again, if any veterans who are interested in applying for the VRE program, contact my team. We can help you with that. You need to have at least 10% disability rating. The Valkyrie has about 48 months of benefits. That is longer than the GI Bill, so that's why a lot of people prefer that as well, and without touching their post 9/11 GI Bill. You will also receive a subsistence allowance while you're going through training. So now, New York State Veterans Benefits. We are accredited through the New York State Division of Veterans Services. So, we are also assisting veterans with the state benefits. One of the most popular one is the Veterans Property Tax Exemption. There are three of them. One is alternate tax exemption, Cold War, and eligible funds. The alternate veterans exemption is the most popular one. It pretty much is 15% off of your assessed property value plus 10% if it's serving combat, and another discount with your VA disability rating. So, for instance, if you're 100% disabled, you get 50% on top of that 15% of your assessed value. So that's 65% off. And if you're serving combat, you'll get 75% off of that assessed value. So, if you have any question, again, contact our team about the property tax exemption. Employment in New York City, civil service exam fee will be waived for those veterans who want to apply for civil jobs here in the city. Veterans will be also given a Section 55A preference, and the veterans will also get extra credit on civil service exam. And if you have disability, you get another extra credit for it. Lifetime Liberty Pass, if you're 40% or above, you can get free admission to state parks or state-owned golf course. You also get a discounted price at the state park campsite. I personally used it and I love it. New York State educational benefits. Most popular one is the Veteran Tuition Award. Also, if you can, your children can also receive financial assistance for $450 per year. That's called a Child of Veterans Award. Veterans also served overseas can receive the peddler's license. I know the rules are a little bit different in New York City, but again, contact my team if you have any issues with that. Last but not the least, New York State Veterans Homes. If you're 70% or more, you're qualified to be enrolled in one of the New York State-run nursing home. So, and that concludes my presentation. I know I've been really fast because a lot of we do a lot for the veterans, but these are all the benefits that you're entitled to. So again, contact us. Chuck would put our contact information again in the chat. So yeah, feel free to contact us. We would really want to help you.
Thank you so much, Phil. And Tanya?
Yes. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us for this informative session. I'm Tanya Thomas, and I want to bring to you some city services. So New York City is chock full of resources. There are some gaps in service, but we'll learn that together. I want to just make you aware of a city resource. Let me share my screen. Okay. 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 Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay. So I have for you I would like to introduce you to city resources such as SNAP benefit. And this is coming from our New York City HRA Center, which HRA is the navigator of all things financial. So when you come to New York City, the first thing we want you to do is get acclimated while you're dealing with transition. HRA can be quite helpful during transition. We have a city government website, and this is chock full of the HRA resources. I left it online as opposed to making a PowerPoint because I want you to see how easily accessible it is. Here we are. HRA is Human Resource Administration. and it has all the links that you would need to get financial assistance. There's videos to tell you how to create an Access HRA account. So you would find HRA assistance through the app. There's a map app, there's an online platform, as well as a mobile app that you can get from your cell phone, from your Play Store. There's a video to let you see exactly how to operate that. And I just want to show you, for all those that maybe if you want to print out, there's a brochure that also explains exactly how, and you get this from the website that I was just on. It'll show you how to access, how to download the app. This is the HRA brochure. Through the website, which I will show you shortly, it will show you exactly how to navigate the HRA system. You have SNAP. SNAP is food. You get an EBT card if you qualify. There are income requirements, but SNAP has been shown to be very helpful to families with children, and single adults as well. On the HRA website, you can manage your case, your HRA case, that is. If you're in need of income, there is cash assistance. And for certain individuals, there is half fare on a Metro card so that you can move around the city. We also have assistance for rent, food, utilities. If you are experiencing rent arrears, there's assistance for that as well. Utilities, if you're late on your utility bill, you would need, well, for the rent, you would need a notice from your landlord, and your utility, you need a cutoff notice. Okay, I want to show you, this is the Access HRA website. So it's fully online, as you can see. You would create an account. And then you would log in, and you would be able to access all of the things we just discussed. Here's SNAP again, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. Cash assistance. Okay. And a one-shot deal is what we were just discussing, like rent arrears or utilities. A one-shot deal can help you with that. HEAP is making sure that you keep your utilities low. There's a process by which the city allows for some discounted electric bill.
Is she coming back on? There she is. Okay.
No, here I am. Sorry.
Okay.
Medicaid.
Okay.
Medicaid is you can access your Medicaid account also through the city. And again, there's the fares. My colleague Philip went into some New York State services that will help you financially, but let's not forget that there's the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor has special disabled veterans outreach program specialists that help out veterans navigate the employment scene. And of course, we have Vet Connect Pro. So we want to put that out there, but since we are a city organization, we want to tell you all about the city services and also mention the state services. So don't forget about the Department of Labor, who also can help you with unemployment insurance. Okay, that's the Department of Labor. And then too, we as a city agency, we also want to tell you about Workforce One. Workforce One has been very instrumental in assisting people with finding work. When I was unemployed, I used the services of Workforce One. I did cast a wide net, which we are talking to you about here today, casting a wide net when you're looking for services. While I did not become employed through Workforce One, It was very helpful. This organization was very helpful in assisting me by having a physical place for me to go to in this world of virtual, everything virtual. There's no place to really go. You submit your resume into this hole, this into space, and some of us remember when you saw a help wanted sign in the window and you went and shook somebody's hand and said, I want that job. Well, those days are largely over. Even if you walk into an establishment, you will get told to go online, go to the organization's website and fill out a resume and submit it. Send your resume and fill out an application and submit it. So Workforce One within the 5 boroughs of New York City is very helpful. Let
Great.
me also show you. Yes, Ellen?
No, that's okay. Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me also not leave my caregivers out. Anyone who is caring for a military veteran and they themselves are in dire straits, let's mention that Hidden Heroes has a Hope Fund for critical assistance, and caregivers can apply for this financial assistance for military caregivers, okay, veterans and military caregivers, okay? It's the Bob Hope Fund for critical assistance. Let me just go back to SNAP, and let me also state that there are other organizations that work with the city of New York to make sure that our constituents can find assistance. So there's SNAP. SNAP is a food program for families, and like I said earlier, singles. We are a SNAP facilitator, so please have a conversation with me regarding whether or not you can meet the eligibility for SNAP. We're doing the SNAP applications ourselves, so you do not have to go into the center. We can help you upload documents. We can do all of these things so that you don't spend hours waiting in a center. It's important to note that, like Commissioner mentioned, you're not transitioning alone. We are here. We are here to assist you with just connecting with the services that are readily available for you. Thank you for serving. And if you have any questions, please contact us.
Great. Thank you so much, Phil and Tanya, for all that amazing information. Again, for everybody who wants to contact, give us a call at 212-416-5250 or send us an email at claims@veterans.nyc.gov. Lots of great information. To make sure you're receiving health care and emotional wellness, we're joined today by a Bronx VA Director, Dr. Balvenkatish Khanna, who will inform you how to register for the VA, more about the benefits due you from the PACT Act, the VA's whole health and mental health programs. Dr. Khanna? Are you unmuted? Let's see. Let's see. Hi, Dr. Khanna.
Ellen, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Sorry about the audio glitch. Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Ellen, and good evening, James and everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, seeing so much of activities being done for the cause of the veterans. So my name is Dr. Bala Khanna. I'm the Medical Center Director for the James J. Peters VA Medical Center in the Bronx. I'm also joined by my colleague, Timothy Graham, who's the Medical Center Director for the New York Harbor VA in Manhattan. I will first try to describe some of the services we offer for veterans, knowing that someone else ahead of me described how to get registered as a veteran for service benefits. I'm going to skip that section, but of course, if any of the veterans on this call need help to register. Our gates are open. We are accepting new patients. We are accepting others. So we can always walk into any of our VA centers and you will be registered in person. However, I want to focus on the services that we provide for our veterans. Both myself at the JJPVA and Tim at the New York Harbor will describe some of the services. So we offer a wide range of comprehensive primary care services, specialty care services, and mental health services. Among the primary care services, we do offer not only at our Bronx site, but we also offer at other locations in Northern Queens, also at White Plains and in Yonkers. We call them the C-Box, the community-based outpatient clinics. So veterans can walk in any time and can try to get access to care in any of these locations. Among the other services that we provide, we focus on women's health programs. We have a comprehensive GYN outpatient program. We offer reproductive health advice, as well as preventative aspects of reproductive health. We also provide robotic GYN surgery for some of the veterans who require that. Among the specialties in the Bronx, we are an oncology center. We also provide rheumatology, dermatology, and urology. We also provide comprehensive rehab for those patients, and we are a national upper extremity center for expertise and a national amputee center of care, which is a best practice in the nation. We are a traumatic brain injury center, and we also provide TMNR, which is physical medicine and rehab services for other veterans. We are one of the top 5 to 6 spinal cord injury programs, and we provide ALS support, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or Lou Gehrig's disease, that you may know it, and we are one of the top centers for that. In terms of mental health, we offer a broad range of mental health services. You can walk in any day if you have a mental health issue, and we can see you the same day. We offer PTSD, substance use services, as well as mental health research, education, and clinical center expertise for those who really need advanced care for PTSD and depression. So there's a wide range of mental health services. All subspecialties are available. I don't have to go through the entire list. We also offer homeless and social work services through our community support services program, the HUD BASH program, the healthcare for homeless veterans, the Safe Haven program, as well as the Veterans Justice Outreach program. We also provide compensated work therapy for veterans transitioning to employment. We support employment as well through the supported employment program. We have a community employment services program. We work with them. And we also provide supported services to veterans families. So we not only provide care, but we also provide social support as well as getting back into the society type of services. I just want to also point out that we have the top of the line, state-of-the-art care given by our affiliations with Mount Sinai Healthcare physicians in the various specialty services. We provide joint disease care for the Hospital for Special Surgery docs. They come on site and work with us. We also have oncology and urology programs from the Columbia University surgeons as well. So there's a lot going on in our facilities. I forgot to mention one more thing. We also offer renal transplant, which is we are one of the 7 centers in the nation. We provide bariatric surgery and robotic surgery as well. So those are some of the services that the Bronx VA provides. I will definitely talk about the PACT Act. I'm going to give it over to my colleague, Tim Graham, who's on the call today to talk about what he can provide at his New York Harbor VA Medical Center. Tim?
Great.
Hi, Dr. Barlow. Thank you for that introduction. Certainly, I am new to the VA New York Harbor healthcare system, so I wanted to just briefly say, first of all, thank you for inviting me to participate in today's meeting. And thank you really for taking the time to hear from such amazing advocates tonight. And I'd especially like to thank Commissioner Hendon and the Department of Veterans Services for giving us this forum for which we can share our vital information about the services that we provide to veterans and their family members. As I mentioned, I was recently appointed as the Medical Center Director for the VA New York Harbor Healthcare System. I've been with the VA for about 20 years, and prior to coming to New York Harbor, I served as the Deputy Medical Center Director at the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center, and then prior to that as the Associate Director at the VA Northern California Healthcare System. I truly came to VA because I think that it's the best organization in the world. And if you haven't taken advantages of the resources that we have to provide, I would certainly encourage you to do so. I saw when I started the VA how our impact as VA employees changed the lives of all the brave men and women for the better who fought for the freedoms that we all enjoy today. And that's really all of you. So with that, just a bit about New York Harbor. We offer a lot of the similar services that are offered in the Bronx, as Dr. Bella had mentioned. Each year, we serve close to 48,000 veterans across the boroughs of Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. Care system, we're comprised of 2 acute care medical centers, which are located in Manhattan and Brooklyn. We offer a full array of surgery, mental health, primary care, and we have an emergency room at both of those locations. In addition to that, we offer Community Living Center, which is our long-term care facility in St. Albans, Queens. And we have 2 outpatient clinics that primarily offer primary care and mental health located at Staten Island and Harlem. Harbor is a highly sophisticated healthcare organization. We have a complexity level designation of 1A, which is the highest that's recognized by the Veterans Health Administration. At the Harbor, we serve as the referral center for many of our complex procedures. So we do neurosurgery. We're one of the few VA facilities in the country that does neurosurgery on site. We do cardiac care and cancer care. We offer a wide array of care, including women's health, homeless services, and recreational creative art therapy, in addition to many of the other procedures that Dr. had mentioned that's provided at Bronx. Certainly, they are our bariatric surgery referral center. The Harbor is really nationally recognized for expertise in mental health. We focus on assessment and treatment that really is aimed to reduce the suicide risk among VA enrolled veterans, engaged in outreach to bring veterans who are not currently using VA into our system. Like the Bronx, we do offer same-day mental health care. You can walk in and we assure you that you will get mental health care on the same day that you walk in. In fact, we also have a very successful homeless program. In fact, recently we were recognized by VHA at a national level for exceeding expectations in the placement of homeless veterans into permanent housing. We have a strong academic partnership. We are partnered with the New York University School of Medicine at our Manhattan Hospital and the State University of New York in Brooklyn. And with that, we host about 1,800 trainees across 30 different medical disciplines. Those trainees are residents as well as students who come in and to observe healthcare practices. We also have a strong commitment to advancing scientific research and applied clinical medicine. We have a very robust clinical research program. And so one of the programs that we have is the John and Daria Berry Precision Oncology Research Program, and that we hope that the findings coming out of that will benefit several hundreds of thousands of veterans across the country. So my message to all of you tonight is that, as well as our community partners, is if you're not registered for VA healthcare, I would encourage you to come in, get registered. We'd love to see you at the New York Harbor healthcare system. There's some big changes that are going on in VA care and eligibility over the past couple of years. We understand that can be frustrating. I know Bala is going to chat with you about some PACT Act regulation and legislation that's come through. But I would invite you that if you need help to speak to an eligibility specialist and apply for benefits, you can apply at va.gov, you can apply by phone, or you can come into one of our medical centers, and our eligibility staff is certainly happy to assist you. Our eligibility office in Manhattan can be reached at 212-686-7500. That's extension 4405, or at our Brooklyn Medical Center at 212-718-836-6600, extension 3560. And if there's a way, I can drop that into the chat box so that everybody has it. But otherwise, I want to thank you for inviting me tonight. Certainly, if there's anything that I can do to assist, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Khanna and Director Graham. We really appreciate you running these first-class medical centers in our communities. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you, Ellen. If I want to just
take
half a minute to talk about the PACT Act, which I think
Please
is a big
do that. Yep.
change in the last couple of years. So as all of us know, that the PACT Act was passed last fall, and a lot of those veterans who are currently receiving care or have not received care could be potentially eligible under the PACT Act legislation. So If any of the veterans have any questions, please ask them to go to va.gov/PACT, which is PACT, or you can call 1-800-MY-VA-411. What the PACT Act does is expands and extends the eligibility for veterans health care for veterans who have had toxic exposures during the Vietnam era or the Gulf War era or the post 9/11 era. It also expands eligibility of benefits exposed to toxic substances otherwise. It expands and extends the eligibility of veterans, to make sure that they receive the right care for the exposures they have gotten exposed during these wars. It increases the amount of care that they receive so they can approach any VA center to get registered, to get screened, and then based on the screening, we'll be able to guide them into the care that they will receive based on the impact of the toxic exposure screen that they have at our facilities. What we are trying to do at this point is to create a comprehensive outreach program, both at our facility as well as in Manhattan and other veteran network facilities throughout New York State, to reach out to the veterans in the communities to let them know, to educate them about our effort to screen and enroll and hopefully, provide the care that they really deserve because of the toxic exposure. A couple of examples: we have reached out to colleges, we have done camps with VSOs, and I'm sure Tim and his team has done a lot of work as he joined the institution as well. So we really wanted to make sure that the veterans on this call and elsewhere understand that they have a great opportunity to get benefits if they were exposed during those 3 wars. So I wanted to stop here, Ellen, and
Thank you.
I wanted to give a chance for any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're always here to amplify the great work that you're doing at the VA. Thank you very, very much. Any questions in the chat at all? Everything's good. Okay, we're going to move right along here. Thank you so very, very much. Expiration of Term Service Sponsors Program, or more commonly referred to as the ETSSP, is a program designed for you in mind. Its mission is to support active duty members in their journey back into civilian life. ETS connects new veterans with trained sponsors from their destination community with a focus on the 12 months between leaving the military and reintegration into civilian life as new veterans. ETS gives you the tools to achieve your goals along with a sponsor to guide you along the way. Its program by vets for vets it's a program for vets by vets, and Brigadier General retired Mike Eastman is its executive director. He served for 30 years in the Army. He's with us tonight to share his reflections on transitioning, having recently departed from military service. General Eastman?
Thanks, Ellen. How's the audio? It's okay?
Yes, it's excellent. Thank you.
All right, great. So Commissioner Hendon, Ellen, thanks for having me tonight. When this first came up on the schedule, right, Ellen asked me for my thoughts on transition, and I thought, oh, what a great idea. And then the closer it got, the less comfortable I was with making this presentation. So I'm going to give it my best shot, right? But I almost feel like I'm throwing some cold water on what's been, to this point, a very positive, informative briefing. But nonetheless, right, I think, so I'm going to start on the downside, and then I'll move to the positive. Let me begin by saying that I hardly count myself as representative of the challenges that our newest veterans are going through. I'm a general officer, and I think there's a distinct difference between the experiences that I have had, even though it hasn't been a whole lot of fun, and the obstacles that are put in front of our younger, newer veterans, 1 or 2 term service members, regardless of, combat experience or the service that they were with. But the fact of the matter is, from an individual point of view, for a new veteran, they have less lived experience, right? They don't have an existing network to fall back on. In general, the population that we serve has less education. The vast majority have no pension, no retirement, right? So this is not an insignificant life change for them. And then, as I look at those that we serve, right, from their point of view, when I talk to communities across the country, not necessarily practitioners like yourselves, but just communities that are interested in working with us, I try and present it this way. every single person that is taking off the uniform today, next week, next month, faces almost uniformly a common set of challenges, right? They're facing unemployment. They're facing relocation, which is really a polite way for saying they want to avoid homelessness. They are losing their medical coverage. They are losing their life insurance. There are significant impacts on their family, right? If they have a family, and about half of the population that we serve does, then there's children. There are children that are changing schools. There are spouses that are potentially changing employment or just losing employment because they have to move. This is then compounded by a loss of structure that they are very much accustomed to, a loss of purpose. Most have joined the military, at least in some way, because they want to serve on a team, they want to serve the country, they want to serve this higher sense of purpose. And then probably the most problematic and least understood is that they have a loss of their identity. They know who they are in uniform. They have a very hard time understanding who they are out of uniform. And frankly, the last several years have compounded this problem. If you're in uniform today and you walk through an airport, people are thanking you for your service. They are buying you beers. You are called to the front of the line at the airport. You take that uniform off, nothing about you has changed, but that's all stripped away. And so I think it's just very hard to clearly articulate what is in front of these young people as they make the most significant change in their life. Now, on the DoD side, right, I'm a professional DoD member. My entire adult life, I was wearing a uniform. We talk about it, but in most respects, in looking back in retrospect, this is the blind leading the blind. This is senior officers standing in front of a room, senior officers who have themselves not transitioned, offering advice to a group of people who have not transitioned, and neither side of this conversation has any experience in what they're talking about. So you ask yourself, what are we doing here? And even worse, I would offer that at an individual level, most of the folks preparing our service members to transition fail to recognize the advantages they have in retiring, vice separating. Yeah, so the bottom line for me is you don't understand it until you go through it. And then once you've gone through it, it's too late. So that's to me how I would capture, from an individual point of view, this is what's in front. I think this is what's more problematic. Right? It's really, really impressive to hear all of the services. I work with the VA every day. I'm very well aware of all the great work that's going on. But there are structural challenges to this transition where we are failing our veterans. I'll just, I'm an unpopular guy on the DoD side now, but there's just things I have to say. The military is not incentivized to focus on transition. Right, wrong, or indifferent, the military worries about readiness. And as a result of that, even if it's the right thing to do, and when I wore my uniform, I absolutely believed it was the right thing to do, opportunities are missed. Internships are missed. Credentialing opportunities are not approved. Just giving someone the time to plan for transition is relegated to taking them to the field or getting them to the range. It's a lower priority. Fundamentally, on the DoD side, the ones producing the veterans, commanders are held accountable for keeping their vehicles running, for getting people to training, for passing inspections. Careers are made or broken on these criteria. But you know what is not accountable? The success of the people that leave your formation. There's no metric, there is no measure, there is no tracking. If everyone in my unit had left the formation and then been immediately homeless and unemployed, it would have had zero impact on my career. So there is a structural incentive problem on the DoD side that I think we ought not overlook. I get to the VA side and the structural challenges that I think we face. It's not that the VA isn't a great system. It is the most impressive healthcare system in the country, bar none. But there are communication and information flow challenges between the DoD and the VA that make accessing those services, I think, harder than we often give credit to. The one commonality for all new veterans, probably if there is one, and we ask this question of every single person, is the disability claim process. And I'll give you my own experience. I'm a general officer. I go to 13 appointments with 13 sets of x-rays on the military side. And in my last 90 days of service, I'm referred to the VA, and I go to 13 appointments with 13 identical x-rays on the VA side. That is the experience people have going through this process. And again, I literally have people making appointments for me. Imagine if you're a young E4 or an E5 navigating this on your own. You're asking yourself, what am I doing? What's going on? And I don't begrudge either side. They're both doing what they're asked to do. But the information flow is problematic. More problematic is that the bulk of the services that we provide to our new veterans, it is up to the individual to access them. The services don't come to the veteran has to access the services. I work on things like, how do I automate enrollment in VA healthcare? How do I automate 1010 Easy? It's just a hard challenge. Technically, a very simple thing, but bureaucratically, a very hard thing. So the veteran is encouraged to enroll, but then has to fill out the forms themselves and get an ID.me account and submit it and figure out their financial status from the last several years to project what they're going to earn in the next year. It's harder than it needs to be. And what we're seeing is, this is a system where we all want to do our very best to serve veterans, but the veteran is in the middle looking out as opposed to the services coming into the middle. And then finally, before I just lose all of your attention and you throw me off the net, there's a federal to local challenge that's involved here too, and that's this reliance on the DD-214. Right? I mean, I was a division commander at Fort Drum. I watched the DD-214 process. I know and recognize that is the way that we tell our communities, our states, and our counties who is coming and when they're arriving. At best, they are 50% accurate. The number of young soldiers that I had to say, don't just put your home of record if that's not where you're going. Don't list your barracks room. That's not how this works. But that's what was going on in the DD-214. And what we're seeing through our program is people change their minds. They put one place, it gets processed, a state X thinks they're coming, and then they say, my first job is in state Y. And there's no mechanism to update it, right? So we have a system that is imperfect at best, but it is the one system we rely on to know who's coming. So I think for me, looking back on what I've been through and what we're trying to impact, there are individual challenges that I think are often underrated, and then there are structural challenges that I think we can do a better job in fixing. So why our program? I'm not going to spend any time tonight talking about ETS sponsorship as the solution, because I think it's part of a solution. I think empowering communities, states, and counties is the solution. Here's what I know. A week of briefings in the congressionally mandated TAP class are insufficient. It's too much information, delivered too late to matter, and delivered too quickly to sink into the audience. I used to sit in the back of the TAP briefing every month with 400 or 500 young people leaving Fort Drum. And because of the needs of the service, overrode the needs of the transitioning individual, they were going to TAP 90 days from separation, not 9 months, 90 days. That's the wrong time to find out that you should have started a disability claim. You've already missed that window. That's the wrong time to hear how you write a resume. That should have been done a year ago. So what we think is, A, we have to get to our service members earlier and build in the time to help educate them on the resources that are available to them, but they're not accessing. B, we got to connect the information we're getting with communities to put them on a proactive footing so they're not in a crisis mode, so they're not discovering veterans haphazardly in the emergency room or in a homeless shelter, but that they know they're coming. Because the DD-214 system isn't doing it, but the veteran themselves has a pretty good idea as they get close to ETS where they're going, and we want to share that with communities so that the great work you're all doing is empowered by accurate and timely information. And then finally, there's a human connection here that's often missing. Programs are staffed by people. I understand that. But for most veterans that we talk about, 34% at my last count have a very negative view on their possibilities for success on transition. And when you dig into that, they almost uniformly say, I feel, sir, like I'm navigating this myself. Right? Which it breaks my heart because I know that there are great people in communities across the country that would bend over backwards to get in front of this. So what we're trying to do is raise a core of sponsors so that these young people making the biggest move of their life have an opportunity to connect to a person in their future community to bring them in. They don't have all the answers. They can connect them to resources, but it's really just someone that cares about them, that can listen to the questions that you're not going to get in a federal briefing about your town, about activities, about schools, about real estate, whatever it is. But we have found that that act of connecting with a sponsor and then sharing information in a timely fashion to empower the organizations that are actually doing the hard work, because it isn't me. The hard work is on the ground. We're seeing over the course of 7 years of studies is reducing negative outcomes up to including suicide by about 30%. And it is coming back to us that the veterans themselves are reporting a 30% higher rating of feeling connected and cared about by their community. So that's sort of how we want to go after this. I really appreciate the chance to talk to y'all tonight, and I don't mean to be down, right? Because I'm impressed and proud to be part of this session tonight. But I do think it's good to ground ourselves once in a while in a recognition that this is a really hard thing, and these are people that are not necessarily being equipped to navigate the challenges in front of them, despite all of our efforts. So with that, I thank you for your time. I'd be happy to take any questions or darts you would like to throw my way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for very honest remarks, and we really appreciate the experiences you've gone through, and seen both from the DoD side as well as from the VA side. I think it's really important, and we need to integrate that all as we develop our programs as we move forward to work with our recently of service veterans at this point in time. So thank you so very, very much. I don't know if there's any questions from the audience to talk to Mike about. Is there one? No, nothing no questions at this time, but I'm sure there might be others later on in the chat room. Really appreciate it. I do want to bring back RJ Jenkins. He's going to talk about what you do next, and Beth Morgan. So RJ and Beth, please come on back.
I'm actually going to take this
Okay.
for the rest of our time, and want to make it, pretty quick, because I know we're coming up to the top of the hour and there's another session afterwards. But really just to sort of go back to what we talked about at the top of the session when we were first getting started. There's basically two things that we think that you should do. Obviously, we've seen that there's a lot of information out there, a lot of folks that want to help. Really, the two takeaways are making sure that you identify what you need. Again, a variety of different information was given tonight around education, employment, disability services, sponsorship, finding a mentor. So just take in all of that information, identify what is the priority, the thing that you need, and then get connected to the resources. Everyone here, I know I speak, I think, for everybody who's on this call that presented tonight, we're here to help. There's information in the agenda and links to all of the resources that were provided tonight. Reach out to one of us. We can get you connected to the right people, and just see us as a resource as you move forward.
Great.
So those are the two takeaways.
And I want to thank all our speakers for tonight. We are planning to hold an in-person job and resource fair in the spring, and we also will focus our sessions on housing, financial security, employment, search tools, and technical training opportunities at these future sessions. I want to thank all the speakers for tonight. As a reminder for our women veterans, please join us directly following this particular meeting. We have another link into a second WebEx link for a special session for women veterans. I really want to thank everybody's time and greatly appreciate all the participation here. Thanks so very, very much.